Fine. So
One general question is after if manually creating chart of accounts, if I want to create a hierarchy, I need to go and do it manually. Can we upload by creating in a file or something?
okay, after creating the chart of accounts, you want to update the hierarchy.
Yes.
Yeah. One option is you can do through manual process. And second option, Oracle is providing separate template just to load the
Mhm.
hierarchies.
Okay. Yeah.
Separate template Oracle is providing. You can use it, or else manual option is you can just go and do it manually. But generally, as a part of rapid implementation, we load everything. So here is the option. So when you are creating the chart of accounts or anything, always we create through chart of our rapid implementation template.
It's only for one country ledger, right? But multiple country ledgers and so on are there. Then you need to go manually, right?
We discussed in the past, right? When we talk about chart of account, mostly we use common chart of accounts, global chart of accounts,
Yes.
right?
Mm.
So you may create ledgers through manual process, but mostly you create chart of accounts in one go.
Okay.
That's how it is. Yeah. Anyway, to the same point. So we have alternative options like loading. You can search. We'll come across that information, right? We call as account hierarchies. Okay, that we have seen in the system. Apart from that, we have a concept called as FBDA templates. We have a rapid implementation templates. By using this variety of options, you'll be able to load it. Yep. Fine. Now,
Hello, sir. Sir, good morning.
yep,
Sir, I have a question.
please.
Actually, sir, we already created the chart of account for the finance offering. If we are implementing the SCM or HCM offerings, so is there any requirement to prepare the chart of account there? Or is there any way to fix it?
Okay, fine. So, we are creating COA, chart of accounts. The chart of accounts, what you create within the GL application, the same we will use in all the applications except payroll. Okay, payroll. In payroll, what they do is they create separate structure called as cost allocation. Cost allocation structure. Again, there what they do is they'll create the chart of accounts, they'll create the separate cost allocation structure, and they'll be using our COA related value sets only because they have to account costing related activities, nothing but salary related elements. In the rest of all the applications, you take SCM, procurement, PPM, any other applications, we will use the same chart of accounts. But in the payroll also, within the HCM also, we use our chart of accounts not directly, indirectly. HCM consultant will create a separate structure called as cost allocation structure. So what are the elements they are going to have? All they define and they do the mapping with our chart of account structure because they need the companies, departments, accounts from our chart of accounts only. This is how it works. Yep.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Fine. Now we'll just, we just completed how to assign GL roles to Alliance user. We assign 5 roles. Here we could see the same, the 5 seeded roles which Oracle is delivering, those we assign. The next task is assign primer ledger to GL roles. Assign primer ledger to GL roles. When you talk about assigning primer ledger to GL roles, it's all about giving the data access. We are giving access to the user to perform transactions with the primary ledger that we can call as data access. Now, if you talk about chart of accounts, okay, if you talk about chart of accounts, what we did, we created chart of account structure, and by copying this chart of account structure, we created chart of account structure instance. Please go on mute. Instance. Okay, so we created chart of account structure, and we copied and we created chart of account structure instance. That instance we used in the primary ledger definition. That instance we used in the primary ledger definition. Now, we created primary ledger and we completed. Our primary ledger name is, we created as INC US. This is our system created. You can rename and finally you can call it as INC US primary ledger. This is also we created primary ledger with this name. The moment you complete our primary ledger, complete primary ledger is nothing but we have a task called as review and submit accounting configuration. Already we simulated that. Okay. So whenever you complete, okay, whenever you complete primary ledger, automatically system, this is our primary ledger name. Let me write here. Okay. Our primary ledger name is INC US primary ledger. The moment you complete our primary ledger, what system will do is system will create data access set. And how it will create with the same name, INC US primary ledger. When we talk about chart of accounts, we are copying and we are creating chart of account structure instance. Structure we are copying and we are calling as instance. When we complete primary ledger, automatically system will copy our primary ledger and it will create data access set. Data access set is nothing but the copy of our primary ledger. As of now, data access set means the copy of our primary ledger. Later we will understand data access set means along with copy of primary ledger, how it can be defined. We will understand when we are working on data access set concept. As of now, for us, the data access set means the copy of primary ledger. The moment you complete our primary ledger, automatically system will copy our primary ledger. The same it will create as data access set. Data access set is nothing but copy of primary ledger. Now, so when we want to assign this primary ledger to GL roles, if you want to assign primary ledger as primary ledger, you cannot assign that primary ledger to all the roles. If you want to assign the primary ledger, which is in the form of data access set, this can be assigned to all the roles. So we have primary ledger as a primary ledger, and please go on mute, please. So we have primary ledger as a primary ledger, and primary ledger we have in the form of with the name of data access set. If you assign primary ledger, if you want to assign primary ledger to this all the roles, it is not possible. You can assign the primary ledger to very few roles. And if you want to assign primary ledger in the form of data access set, yes, you can assign that data access to all the roles. Reality, we don't assign primary ledger as it is to GL roles. We always assign data access set to all the roles, GL roles. Okay, no difference. So data access is copy of primary ledger. Now what we are going to do is, yes, you can call as assign primary ledger to GL roles, but reality, instead of primary ledger, the copy of primary ledger which we are calling as data access set, this we are going to assign to GL roles. Okay. So before we go and assign the data access set to GL roles will review. Our primary ledger is created as data access set or not. Okay. If our primary ledger is created as data access set, we'll go and check it. So go to instance. We never created data access set. We only created primary ledger through rapid implementation. Okay, now go to setup and maintenance. Here always select financials as offering and search for the task called as data access set. Search for the task called as data access set. Here is the task, manage data access sets. Manage data access sets. Click on manage data access sets, same task. Now, here you can find our primary ledger in the form of data access set. LINC cells. Okay, here we can see the name LINC US. This is our system created. We didn't modify the name through ledger options. And created by Amex INC. That time we connected to the instance with that user, but reality it is not created by this user. This is created by system. We can see that also. You select this record, click on edit, just to review how system created. You see the note. This is system generated data access set and cannot be updated. How it created? It took our ledger name as it is, as a data access set name. Access set type full ledger, the entire ledger we should be able to access. And same chart of account, same calendar being used. And here ledger selected is LINC US, type is ledger, all values. When you look at the privileges, it is read and write. Read and write means full privileges. That means within this primary ledger, okay, within this primary ledger, whatever we created, okay, whatever we created, those all can be accessed from this data access set. So all can be accessed from this data access set. That's how it is. So this is how system creates. Now this data access set we have to assign to the users. Okay, this data access set we have to assign to the users. Just click on cancel. Click on done. Now we'll go and assign our primary ledger to GL roles. When I say primary ledger, always we have to understand that is our data access set. To assign our primary ledger to GL roles, we have one task called as data access for users. Data access for users. Just refresh this page navigation. We want to assign primary ledger to GL roles. The task name is data access for users. Manage data access for users. Okay, please make a note. The task name is manage data access for users. Click on this task. Click on the same task, manage data access for users. Now, to assign our primary ledger to GL roles which are assigned to this user, click on plus icon. Select our user. How many roles we assign to this user overall? The total roles. How many roles we assign to this user so far?
5. Means 5 plus 2.
Yeah. Total 7 roles we assign. 5 roles for GL application the remaining two roles to perform the activities as a consultant. The roles what you assign to this user, we would be able to see only those roles here. We cannot see the roles which are there in the entire system. We can see the roles which are already assigned to this user. Click on drop down. Okay. So these are the roles. I think we did that assignment in the other environment, I guess. Fine. Quickly, we'll go and assign the roles to our user. Yes, we did in the last session. I think we use different instance. Okay. So go to user called LILC. Let's assign quickly those 5 roles. Edit, add role, just copy and paste. So always select which is starting with ORA prefix. These points we discussed already. Just follow the same. General accountant, assign. Finance analyst. Assign. Controller. Assign. CFO. Assign. Done. Click on done. Now go back to the same task. Setup and maintenance. The task name is data access for users. Click on manage data access for users task. Click on the same task one more time. Now click on plus icon. Select our user. Now the roles whatever we assign to this user, we are able to see here. Now which roles we are going to use to perform the transactions? Only the GL roles. We no need to assign our primary ledger to application implementation consultant and IT security manager role. We no need to assign primary ledger to these roles. These two roles are designed to configure the setups and to maintain the security. With application implementation consultant role, always we do the configuration. With IT security manager role, we always create the users and we do the role assignment, etc. So these two roles are not designed to perform the transactions. You no need to assign primary ledger to these two roles. Now we are going to assign our primary ledger to 5 roles only. Select one by one. So CFO, what we are going to assign that we call as security contest. Okay, what we are going to assign that we call as security contest. What we are going to assign primary ledger. But primary ledger we are not going to assign in the form of primary ledger. We are going to assign primary ledger as a data access set. We will just look into that point also. Here security contest we have ledger. Ledger means primary ledger. And we have data access set. Both we have. The role name is Chief Finance Officer. So you have a ledger. I'll select another role. I'll select controller. If you look at controller, for controller also we have a ledger, we have a data access set. Okay. Now, if you look at general accounting manager, you have only data access set. You don't have any ledger as a security contest value. If you look at general accountant, you have only data access set. And if you look at financial analyst, you have only data access set. So for all the roles, Oracle is providing data access set, not ledger. So here data access is nothing but our ledger, which is already copied. We can create our custom data access set. The purpose and all we will understand when we deal with the topic. For now, the point what we have to understand, instead of assigning primary ledger to all the roles, whatever the data access set is created based on our primary ledger, we have to assign. We'll assign to all the roles. So first, financial analyst. Here select security contest as data access set. Means what we are assigning data access. Data access is nothing but our primary ledger as of now. Here select primary ledger name. Alliance US and click on plus icon. And username is Alliance user. Select role as general accountant. Contest is data access set and select ledger name. Alliance, you can call as ledger or data access set, nothing wrong. Click on plus icon. User is Alliance. The role name is general accounting manager. Security contest is data access set. The ledger name is Alliance US. Click on plus icon. Select user. Select role as controller. Security contest is data access set. Select ledger name. Click on plus icon. Select role as CFO. Select data access set. Select ledger name. So we assign our primary ledger, or you can call as we assign our data access set to our user for all the roles. To 5 roles we assign our primary ledger for our user. Now we can say save and close. Any questions here from anyone, please?
So we are assigning GL roles to access to data access set by user, by role, and data access set, right? That means if we have 10 users, you need to go and do this for all 10 users.
Yeah, correct. For every user you have to do. Now we did for one user, the same you have to do for rest of users.
It is not just by, for example, roles are there. We assign couple of roles to one user, couple of roles to some user. So if we assign access to the role, then automatically whatever role is assigned to the user,
Okay.
it will get, right?
No. So for which user, which role you want to assign to which user, which ledger access you want to give, you have to do through manual process. You have to do this. In HCM side, there is a kind of automation, but generally that doesn't work. That is a different story. Limited roles you can automate, but ideally this is what we do, manual process. Yep. For every user, you have to assign the desired roles. And for every user, you have to provide the data access. Here, data access is nothing but assigning ledger to user roles. Any other questions, please?
So this is the common procedure for any kind of role. You need to assign the roles to the user, then assign the data access set to the user and do primary ledger.
No, don't repeat all this. See, the same point I explained clearly. Yeah. So your understanding, keep as your understanding, just same, like again, you no need to repeat to get a confirmation.
What I was telling is, my
Very
primary
simple. I
lecture.
am explaining everything very, very simple. Like I don't see something is left in that. You ask the question, I answer saying that. So yes, this is applicable for all the users. That's it. Yeah, please. Other questions, please. Yeah, fine, no questions. So this is how we have to assign. First step is assign the roles. Second step is assign the ledger access to user roles. Say save and close and click on that. Now, what is the next step? Now we assign roles to user to the roles we assign primary ledger. The next step is we have to update this assignment. Okay, what are the roles we assign to user to the roles, what are the primary ledger we assign, these need to be updated in the system. These need to be updated in the system. So for that, we have to submit one program called as LDAP. LDAP, LDAP job. LDAP. LDAP stands for, L stands for lightweight, D stands for directory, A stands for access, P stands for protocol. So lightweight directory access protocol. This is one of the service within the Fusion applications. What Oracle says, whenever you assign data access to user, here data access means ledger access. Whenever you provide ledger access to any user, you submit this job. If you submit this job, whatever you assign, that will get activated. Okay, that will get synchronized. Now we assign roles ledger to user, but that user may not get access to this user's roles and ledger access. To synchronize, to update, okay, we have to run the program called as LDAP job, LDAP job, LDAP job you call, and you can call it as job, or you can call it as program, or you can call it as request. Yep. Fine. So we'll see how to submit this LDAP job so that all the assignments what we did, those will get activated, those will get synchronized for the user. Then the user will be able to access to the same. Go to instance, and here we are going to two ways you can perform this. We'll see two ways. One is here, select initial users. You could see one task called as run user and role synchronization process. If you click on this task, it will display one job called as retrieve latest LDAP changes. Just you have to click on submit. That's how you can complete. What is the purpose of this job? You can see in the description. It will synchronizes users, roles, and role grants with the definitions in LDAP. Okay, that's how it is. You can submit from here, or else we have another navigation. Just click on navigator, go to tools, under tools, click on scheduled processes. Click on scheduled processes. Now click on schedule new process. Here just type LDAP, LDAP uppercase, use tab. It will fetch that name. See, it is fetching. If you don't want to do this directly, what you can do is you can click on drop down, click on search. Here type LDAP, lightweight directory access protocol. Search is showing the similar jobs. What we need is the first one. Retrieve latest LDAP changes. Select and say okay. The same description, it will synchronize users roles, role grants with the definition in LDAP. So whenever we provide the data access to users, Oracle recommends to run this job so that immediately that will take effective. Or else system can run that updates in the backend. Even if you don't run, you will be able to access, but it takes time. So Oracle always recommends whenever you assign anything to user roles, it could be your primary ledger, which you have seen just now. It could be your business unit, etc., etc. You have to submit this job so that those will get updated. Then you can start using. Now click on OK and click on submit. Say OK. Refresh. When you submit this job, retrieve latest LDAP changes, you may come across with the status as a blocked. Here now it is showing as running, but when you practice, you may come across with the status called as blocked. It means already the job is submitted by other user. You don't need to worry about it. If you find the status as blocked, cool. Somebody already submitted, even your job is blocked, no issues. The reason this job runs at entire instance level, it is not user specific. Say you created user, you assigned the roles, you assigned your primary ledger. I also did the same. If I submit this job, you no need to submit. You no need to submit. One submission is enough. So when you submit this job, if it is throwing error message, if it is showing the status as blocked, you no need to worry about it. You can proceed with the next step. You no need to stop here since the status is something else. Just submit and keep going irrespective of the status. Sometimes when you submit this LDAP job, in some instances, it may throw error message. No worries. There is a background process which will take care of all these synchronization. Okay, if you are able to submit, submit. If it is running smooth, let it run. If it is updated status is blocked, let it be. You keep going with the next task. Okay, everything will be in the sync. No need to worry about it, but just we have to understand the purpose of this job. Refresh. And again, it will take couple of minutes time. Okay, it will take couple of minutes time. What I would suggest is you don't wait here to see the status as succeeded. You submit it, wait for 1 or 2 minutes max. If you don't see the status as succeeded, no worries. Within 1-2 minutes, it can update the status. It would be running for all the remaining users also. So just you wait for 1 or 2 minutes. If the status is not going to turn into succeeded, no worries. You can proceed with your next step. Okay. So that no issues, still it is running. You don't need to wait. If something is not working, okay, you have to wait till the status will turn into succeeded. Done. Fine. So we created, we assigned the roles to user. To roles we assigned the primary ledger, and we submitted the synchronization program. We can call a synchronization program. It will sync everything. Now, what is the next task? Okay, what is the next task? The next task is we have to open GL periods. Okay, we have to open GL periods. We have to open GL periods. Say open GL periods. In any application, if you want to record the transactions, current period should be open. I want to record the transactions within the June month. If I want to record the transaction within the June month, the June period status should be open. If I want to record the transaction, the GL, for GL, June should be open. If I want to record the transactions in AP, For AP, June period should be open. So make sure the period status is open for respect to application, which period? Current period. So without opening the periods, we cannot record any transactions in that period. Okay, we cannot record. Now we'll see how to open the GL periods. So when we assign these roles to user within the navigator, you can find general accounting section. Within the navigator, if you scroll a little down, you could see something called general accounting. General accounting is nothing but general ledger application. Okay, general ledger application name they are displaying in the navigator as a general accounting. When you see general accounting, it is our GL. Now expand it. Just click on it, it will be expanded. Now within the general accounting, it is not showing anything. These are just dummy values, nothing. But we need something which allows us to perform some activities within the GL application. Those are not showing. But already we submitted LDAP. So those are not synchronized or say synchronized, but we are not able to see anything related to GL application. This is something report and all. It doesn't make any sense for us. We need something like journals, okay, accounting dashboard, general ledger dashboard, and kind of period close. Such kind of tasks we are expecting to see under general accounting, but those are not here. So we submitted LDAP. LDAP is still running, but no issues. What we can do is just log out and log in. It will reflect. Still, if it is not reflecting, you have to wait till the job will complete. Okay. So log out and log in and check once. Okay. Now go to navigator one more time. So within the navigator, go to general accounting, expand. Now you could see general accounting dashboard, journals, period close. This is what we expected to see here. Now what we want to do, we want to open GL periods. Here is the task. The general accounting, if you expand general accounting, we have one task called as period close. The task name they given as a period close, the reason, however, we open period every month in the beginning, in the end of the month, you have to close the period also. Closing periods are very, very important. However, opening periods are very important for us to enter the transactions. Every month we open the period, we'll record the transactions. End of the month, we close the period. End of the month, we close the period. So now they given the task name as a period close. The same task we can use to open the periods also. Yeah. So click on task called as period close. Hope it is synchronized. If it is synchronized, it will take us to that page and we can perform the rest of actions, or else we have to wait for some time. Now we are able to navigate to the page. That means everything got synchronized. Sometimes the roles may synchronize. It means you can see if you go to navigator. If you go to navigator, you may see these tasks. But if you click on period close, it may not take you to this page. That means 100% synchronization is not completed. That's what you have to understand. And you have to wait for a few more minutes. Now, in our case, 100% synchronization complete. That is the reason we are able to navigate to this page. And here is our data access set, which we assigned. This data access system created against which primary ledger that you can see here. Okay. So by using this primary ledger, this data asset is created. Okay. So we are able to access to data access set because we assign the data access only one data access to this user. So that data access only we are able to access. Within the data access, what we have, this ledger we have. System created data access by using this ledger only. Now, we want to open current period. We want to open current period. If you see the current period status for general ledger application is never opened. Okay. The current period, June month, status is never open for general ledger application. We are in the GL application, status is never open. So before June month, we have multiple periods. We define calendar from Jan. We cannot open current period without opening previous periods. First, we have to open the Jan, then you have to open rest of periods. Finally, you can open our target period called as June. That's how it works. Now, to open the periods right from Jan to June, click on the period status, never open. Okay, click on never open status. As per our accounting calendar, the very first period is Jan. Okay, so our accounting calendar we have within the primary ledger. That primary ledger system copied that we are calling as data access. Okay, so that's how we are accessing data access. Within the data access, we have a ledger. Within this ledger, we have a calendar. Calendar starts with a Jan. The same system is showing as a first period. Now say okay. This action will open the first period in our ledger. Do you want to continue? Yes. Without opening the first period, we cannot open the current period. Say yes. So refresh. It takes some time. Yeah. Now we could see the first period, Jan 24, status as open. Here is the icon. And the next period status it is taking as future interval. How it is taking, from where it is taking, we'll discuss. But just notice this point. Okay, we open first period. But our target is current period. To open the current period, go to actions, select open target period. Okay, we open the first period. Now go to actions, click on open target period. Select current period. When you select current period, what system will do is it will look at what is latest open period. The latest open period is Jan. One and only period open is Jan. Now we are selecting June. What it will do is after Jan, it will open Feb, March, April, May. Then it will open June period. Okay. Without opening the previous periods, we cannot open current period directly. It is not possible. Now say open. It will open all the previous periods. Finally, it will open our target period, which is our current period. Target period is always current period. Say okay and refresh. It takes some time. It will update the status for all the periods. Yep. Now all the periods are open. You could see here. Jan, Feb, March. Okay. On refresh. And June period also open. Next period, July period system is taking as a future interval. Okay, next period is taking as a future interval. Okay, that's how it is. Fine. Now, let's look at the period statuses. Here is the info about the period, different period statuses. One is open, the other status is closed, third one is permanently closed, and fourth one is future interval. These you call as period statuses. Okay, this we call as period statuses. This we call as period statuses. What is the purpose of period status? Any period status is open. Okay, if any period status is open, we can enter the transactions in that period and we can process. Process is nothing but posting. Okay, you'll come to know what does it mean by posting. So posting action always updates the balances. How it is equal to some other activities what we do. Take example, you are filling online application. You entered all the data within your account. You saved that application. You not yet submitted. No use. You just fill the data and you saved in your account, but you didn't submit that application. If you don't submit, no use. In the same way, in the system also, if you create the transaction to save, no use. You have to post it. You have to post it. Posting is nothing but updating the balances. Okay, we will do it, we will understand. But now, simple point is, if any period status is open, what you can do? You can create the transactions. The second action is you can perform the posting. Posting is nothing but processing the transaction to update the balances so that you can produce the reports. Simple action. We will see when we create the transaction. If any period status is closed, you cannot enter any transactions into that period. Okay, if period status is closed, you cannot enter any transactions in that period. It's very simple. And if period status is closed, you can reopen the period. If period status is closed, you cannot enter the transactions, but still you want to enter, you can reopen. If period status is permanently closed, yes, you cannot enter the transactions. Okay, you cannot enter the transactions and you cannot reopen the period. You cannot reopen. If period status is permanently closed, you cannot reopen. If period status is already closed, then only you can set the status as a permanently closed. Directly from open to permanently closed, you cannot set. And future interval. Future interval means we are in June month. If you want to record the transactions, yes, system will allow you to record the transactions in future interval periods. In our case, July month is future interval. July month status is future interval. If status is future interval, yes, you can record the transactions, but you cannot post them. You have to wait till July month period open to post those transactions. So that's the difference between open, closed, permanently closed, future interval. So reality, we don't close the periods permanently. So every month beginning we open the period, end of the month we close the period. So every company will have their own policy of closing the period. Exactly, there no company is going to close the periods end of the month. They'll have a policy like 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, because end of the month they have to settle many things. Before closing the any application period, they have to fix all the issues. So we have to close every month and every company will take 2 to 3 days time. Say for example, today is May 31st. Are we going to close May 31st period? No. Today is June 1st. May month is not yet closed. but June we have to open. May month we may close within 2-3 days, because in May month there are many transactions recorded by business, all need to be cleared, all issues, all transaction related pending activities need to be completed, then only we can close it. So this is how it works. Every month end we have to close the current period and we have to open the next period. But reality, when we entered into new month, yes, we'll open the period. When we pass the next last period, we don't close. It takes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days time also. Some companies will have a time frame as 1 week. Next month, within 1 week, they will close the previous month. So that's how it is. Okay. So these are the points we have to understand how system is taking one period as a future interval. July period is taking as a future interval. How come system knows one period as future interval? That is there at ledger options. If you look at our ledger options, the ledger options, there is a default value. We'll go and see that. Go to ledger options. So our ledger name is LINC. Select say save and close. See the field number of future enterable periods. Okay, the number of future enterable periods set to 1. So that is the reason it is reflecting here only 1. If you set here 2, it will show July and August. These 2 periods are future enterable. Okay. Reality, we don't do anything in the future interval periods, but it allows us to record the transactions, but we cannot process. Okay, by default, one will keep as this. There is no harm. User by default will be able to create the transactions in latest open period. If user is going to record the transaction, by default, which period it will display to the user? Latest open period. Yeah, we have many periods open, but latest is June. So user no need to select June. Automatically system will select the June month. That's how you can see in the system. So here you can change the name if you want to change your ledger name. If you don't want to see as Alliance US, you can add primary ledger. So save and close. Done. So this is all about period statuses. Open, if any period status is open, within that period you can enter the transactions and you can process. Nothing but you can post. If period status is closed, you cannot enter any transactions, but you can reopen the period. If period status is permanently closed, you cannot enter any transactions and you cannot reopen the period. If period status is future enterable, you can enter the transactions within that period, but you cannot post them. Posting is nothing but processing the transactions to update the balances. Now we'll see how to close the period. Now, John, we don't have any transactions in the John. It is easy for us to close. If you have any transactions, you have to take care of all those transactions. Then you will be able to close it. Select, click on close period. Job submitted or request submitted. Refresh. Just refresh. Yeah. See the status, it's closed. And the same way you can set the status for other periods also. Now, when you're practicing, you don't need to close all the periods. Directly, you can start using the June month just to understand we are doing. Reality, every month need to be closed end of that month. Within 2, 3 days, 3 days, 4 days of next following month, you should close the previous month. Now, select this period, Feb. I want to close this period permanently. If I go to actions, the permanently closed is disabled. Reason, if you want to close any period permanently, first the period status should be closed. The closed periods you can close permanently. Okay, closed periods you can close permanently, but not open periods. Now, John period is closed. Yes, this you can close permanently. Select John, go to actions, and here you can select permanently closed. If you close permanently, you cannot reopen. Okay, Oracle recommends don't close periods permanently. Okay, if you have any transactions in those periods, don't close the periods permanently. Now you are doing the implementation, you are starting from June, you don't have any data within the past periods. Yes, you can go and close permanently, not an issue. But there won't be any specific requirement to close the periods permanently. Most of the businesses, what they do is they'll just reopen. Sometimes they'll enter some transactions in the previous periods. Even it is not at all recommended, they do as some adjustments with some different reasons. Whatever it may be, Oracle is not recommending to close the periods permanently. Even we should not recommend to the business to close the periods permanently. Always we recommend to close the period, not permanently close. So this is what we have to understand when I talk about closing the, opening or closing the periods. Okay, fine. So any questions here, please? Just you ask me questions, like don't repeat whatever I explained, please. That is my point. For your clarification, you no need to repeat whatever I said. That is a confirmation from my side, same point, no changes. So if you have specific question to understand additional points or any clarification required, you can ask me, please. Yeah. So this is all about opening the periods we call. Okay, we discussed closing also, but just point is opening the periods. These you can call as period controls also. So what are the different period controls we have means you can talk about statuses. If you open the period, you can enter and you can post. If period status is closed, you cannot enter the transactions. If period status is permanently closed, you cannot enter transactions as well as you cannot reopen. In case of closed, you can reopen. If period status is future enterable, you can enter the transactions and you cannot process. These are the statuses as well as those are the relevant controls we can call. Yep. So any questions here, please?
Sir, future intervals,
Yeah.
the period is already added in advance. So even we have, once the July will come, we have to open that period.
Yes, correct. When we just arrive the July, you select, click on open.
But you said that we can enter the transaction, but we cannot post.
Correct. You can post when you arrive July month. Till the time
No.
you may enter. Now we are in the June, right?
Yeah.
You received one invoice from supplier which is belongs to July month.
Okay.
You can enter, but you cannot take any action on that.
I can enter, I can save for the time being, but once the July will come, then only I can post like this.
Correct. You have to post in July only.
Okay. But I can
Otherwise, don't
save
enter.
that.
Otherwise, don't enter if you don't want to do it. When you arrive the July month, then only you enter and post. Two options. Yep.
Yeah, got it, sir. Thank you.
You can maintain in the system and you can keep it ready. Or else just whenever you open the July month, enter and post. Just they are giving the provision. They are giving the provision to maintain the draft. In July month, if you create any transaction being in the June month, It's just future transaction. You are creating some draft which you cannot process for any real action. That's it.
Sir, we open this period for the primary ledger. If
Yeah, we
the
opened
other,
June month to record the
uh-huh,
transactions. Since we are in
okay.
June month. In June month, you do business, right? As a company, you do the business. Okay, June month.
So for the
Yeah.
every option we have to open the period, or it will be automatically it will applicable
Every
on
action
our
not.
name.
Every action not. One time you have to open any action you can perform.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Anything, just you open GL period. In GL, anything you do, you don't need to again opening, you don't need to open any periods, etc.
Got it, sir.
Yeah. For entire general ledger application, you are opening one time for your primary ledger. That's it.
So everywhere it will be applicable.
Sorry?
Everywhere it will applicable.
Yeah, in the
Means
entire
every
GL.
offerings.
Yeah, for the
Entire.
entire GL, any transactions you are going to perform, the same status is applicable.
Okay.
For each month, one time you open the period. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah, only one time.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, fine. Done. So that's all about opening the periods. Now we'll see how to create the transaction in the GL. Reality, we don't create. That already we discussed in the past also. If you want to pass any other application related, like any other transaction, any application related entries manually you want to pass, you may just use manual entry, or else you may pass some adjustment entries. The real business transactions generally we don't enter in the GL. But just to understand how transaction can be created within the GL. Okay, how transaction can be created within the GL, how our balancing segment rule is going to function. Okay, how our balancing segment rule is going to function. We will just go and create one transaction. What are the transactions you create in the GL that we call as journal? Okay, the GL, what are the transactions you create that we call as journal? So when I talk about journal, okay, journal consists of header information, lines information, and every journal system will take as a one batch. You may create one journal with header and line. System will treat that journal as one batch. In one batch, with the header and line, you can have one journal or multiple journals. Okay, the structure of journal is header and line. But when you create the journal with header and line, system will take every journal as a one batch. Okay, every journal by default belongs to one batch. So structure is header and line, and creation point of view, everything will be looped into batch. Now we'll see how to create the journal. We'll go and create the simple journal for our understanding, and we'll check these points also. We discussed the primary balance in segment label always ensures the debit balance in segment values should be equal to credit balance in segment value, and the debit amount should be equal to credit amount. Okay, the offsetting should be with the same amount and same balance in segment value. So these are the points we discussed in the one session. The same we are going to see by passing the journal. So go to instance, go to navigator. So within the navigator, under general accounting, go to journals. Okay, go to journals. Go to journals task. You can call everything as a task, which you see in the navigator. Click on journal task. So this page you can call as journals work area. Okay, journals work area. Now we have access to only our data access set. Okay, Alliance US primary ledger. This is our data asset name. So we updated ledger name. Ledger name only is copy of data access set, right? So that is automatically getting synchronized. We change the ledger name in the ledger option, same reflecting as a data access set name. Now to create the journal, click on this task pan, task list you can say. Click on task pan. So here under journals, we have one task called as create journal. Click on create journal. Click on create journal. We are going to create the journal by using this data access set. Within the data access set, we have this ledger. Okay, by using this ledger, we are going to create the journal. When you look at the journal structure, this part we call a journal header information. And this section we call as journal lines. Okay, journal contains header information and line information. That's all. But every journal is aligned with a batch. Here is the batch information. Every journal. You may create one journal, it will treat as a batch. You may create 100 journals within the same batch. So that should remain as it is. Okay, every journal is aligned with a batch. Now, if you look at the section journal batch name we have to provide. Again, it is not mandatory. If you don't give any name, system can create the name automatically. It creates the name automatically as a we are creating manual journal. Reality journals we create in the GL based on your subledger applications. Say you created an invoice in the payables, that information will transfer to GL, that will be created as a journal information in the GL. But reality, we have to get journal information from other applications. Now we are creating directly within the GL that we call as manual. Okay. So you can give any name. Say we want to create one journal for salaries. Salaries. And look at the field called as source. Source means this journal is belongs to which application. By default, system is taking manual. When you see source as a manual, you have to understand the journal is created in the GL application. Instead of giving the name as a general ledger, they are giving the source as manual. If any journal is coming from payables to GL, you see the source as a payables here. Or if anything is coming from receivables, source you see as receivables. Now we are not getting anything from other applications. Directly we are creating within the GL. So source is manual. And automatically system is taking accounting period as June. This is the latest open period. You can record the journals with other open periods also. So you can choose. John is not available because that is closed. You can record the journals within the Feb, March, April, May up to June. Even July also you can choose. July also available, but it's a future enterable period, right? You can enter, but you cannot post. Posting system won't allow for future enterable. So we are not selecting automatically, system is selecting the latest open period. As per our accounting calendar, which is in our primary ledger, the latest open period is June 24. The same it is taking, you don't need to change it. Now, go to journals. Here, provide the journal name. So I'm taking salaries as a journal name also. And automatically system is taking the our primary ledger. Based on which primary ledger this data asset is created, that automatically selecting, you don't need to select. And currency also system is taking automatic, which currency, whatever the currency we have within this primary ledger. Okay. So when we create, while creating the primary ledger, we selected currency as USD, the same currency is defaulting. Okay, system is defaulting currency from ledger. If you want to record the journal with a different currency, you can choose. All the enabled currencies will be available here. You can choose any currency. If you choose different currency, make sure rates are available between the two currencies, between your ledger currency. Our ledger currency is USD. What are the currency we have within the ledger that we can call as ledger currency or functional currency? If you select any currency here, between your ledger currency and the foreign currency, you have to maintain the rates in the system. Then only you can process the journal. Now, source means where you are creating the journal. It could be payables or receivables, or it could be GL. GL means manual. Manual means GL. And category means why you are creating the journal. Category means why we are creating the journal. What is the purpose that we have to enter? That you may enter as some expense or adjustment. Okay, you may say we are entering some adjustment entry, or else you can write as it's a payroll related journal. Okay, payroll journal. Okay, why you are creating journal? Because we are recording the payroll cost here, salaries. That's how you can select relevant category. Category means what purpose, why we are creating journal, to record some payroll expenses or salaries, you can say. So that's how you can fill the data in the journal header level. Now scroll little down, we have a journal lines. The line level you have to provide the account. What we are doing, we are paying the salary. So select salaries account. Click on search. So select account code combination. Say 1000. Which department? Say HR department. Any department you can select for testing. Which account? We loaded many accounts through rapid implementation, right? Here you can search for salaries. Click on search. Select search criteria as it contains salaries. How many accounts you have which contains salaries? Those all accounts it will display. You can select salaries. Say general administration salaries account. Rest of codes you have to fill. Intercompany select as a default. It is not intercompany transaction. It is not related to specific project. Future 1 and future 2 set as a default. And say OK. Now, based on this, all the codes, system will create code combination. Based on all these codes, system will create the code combination. Chart of account structure instance level, there is one checkbox called as allow dynamic combination creation allowed. Because of the checkbox, system will allow us to create new code combination in this environment. If the checkbox is disabled at chart of account structure instance level, we cannot create new code combinations. Now we are able to create. The reason it is enabled at instance level, we don't need to enable. The moment you create chart of account structure instance, automatically system will enable. Now enter amount. Say just I'm entering 5 lakhs. $5 lakhs we're entering. And we enter debit amount. We spent expense. We recorded as a debit. Now say cash account. Click on search, select company. So its company should be same. Okay, company should be same. Company should not be different. So I'm selecting 2000. We can understand. Okay, company 2000 and provide the accounts related to cash account. Select department. You may select department different also. There is no issue at all. because always the balancing segment label or balancing rule will verify the balancing value is matching in the debit and credit or not. It won't check department is matching or not, account is matching or not, intercompany. It won't worry about other segments. Only it will look at the balancing segment related values are same or not. Now select cash account. I'm selecting Citibank cash account. Just provide the values as this. Say okay. Entering credit amount also 5 lakhs. Now, as per balancing rule, we assign primary balancing segment label to company. So company values we are calling as a balancing segment values. As per balancing rule, the debit and credit balancing segment value should be same, but here different. Now you cannot process this transaction. We'll see that. Click on save. Click on complete. Now submit for posting. When you click on posting, system will try to update these balances, but it will fail. Just click on post. The request has been submitted. Say okay. Now see the batch status is selected for posting. As per balancing segment rule, the balancing segment label always watch. In every journal, debit and credit balancing segment values are same or not. If same, it will allow. If not same, it will stop. Now here not same. 1000, 2000, which is completely wrong. Refresh. Just click on refresh to see the status here, because we don't have any refresh option for entire journals. So just click on refresh. It will throw error message. See the batch status is the journal is not balanced by balancing segment values. If it is intercompany, that's a different story. That is okay, but it is not a intercompany. But journal is not getting balanced. Okay, the journal is not balanced by balancing segment value. So you cannot post it. See, it is not allowing to post. Now what we have to do is we have to correct it. We have to correct. So are we able to correct here? No. Correct, we are not able to correct here. What you can do is our journal batch name, journal name is salaries. You cancel this to close this page and just go to task list, click on manage journals. Now here click on search. What are the journals we created in the June month? System will display. Click on search. Here is our journal record. Same message. Okay. So it's not balanced by balance and segment values. Debit and credit balance and segment values are not same. Now select this record, click on edit. Just correct it. Now it will allow. Okay, it will allow. But just to make some difference, to understand, it will look at balances also. I'm making it as a 4 lakhs. Now save it. Here itself you'll get a message. The total debit and credit amounts are not equal. Do you want to continue? Yes. Okay. Now try to post it. It won't allow us to post. Same message it is giving. Say yes. Say okay. And refresh. refresh. You see, the journal is not unbalanced. Okay, the journal is unbalanced, we say, means the journal is not balanced. That is the reason you cannot perform the posting. So this is how the primary balancing segment label can behave in the system environment to make sure every transaction is getting balanced with the same balancing segment value. Every transaction is getting balanced with the same amount. So this kind of watch can be okay. So this is what just we have to understand. Okay, done. Refresh. Now we cannot change the amounts. We'll go and update the amount and we'll be able to post it. Click on cancel here. Click on search so that the record will get refreshed. Now click on this journal name. Now you can update the amount. Select this record. Make it 5 lakhs. And save it. Post it. We submitted job or request. Refresh. Once you post the journal, you cannot update anything in that journal. Okay, you cannot update anything. If you want to do, say you did mistake, you have to reverse the journal. This is all we will learn when we start working on GL application. Now, just to introduce how we can create the simple transaction as a journal by using our primary ledger. That is the target we completed. Now see the status of the batch posted. Now no, you cannot modify anything. Okay, you cannot modify anything. Journal is posted, everything will be freezed. This information will be updated. And when you produce the reports system, you can pull this data. We'll see when you generate the reports. So this is what we have to understand about journal creation. And we'll see like how to create multiple journals, etc. Now we don't need to focus on it. When we are in the GL, we'll focus on journal creation, how to create foreign currency journals, how to reverse the journals through manual process, how to reverse the journals automatically, how to post through manual process, how to post automatically. We have many concepts that we will see when we are working on GL. Now just very simple point here is how to create the journal. That's all. So then this part is completed. Now the next step would be we'll start with AP application. AP would be our first application. Okay, we'll start with AP from tomorrow. So any questions here, please? Any questions on today's session or journal creation, please?
When can we post unbalanced journals?
Sorry?
Unbalanced journals.
Unbalanced journals?
Can we post?
You cannot, but still you can create one provision. The concept called as suspense. Say
Okay.
you have 5,000. Here you
Mhm.
have 4,000. System won't allow because of balancing rule.
Mm.
The credit side variance is 1 lakh. So you are not sure the 1 lakh you want to take into which account as of now.
Mm.
Okay, in the ledger options, you can set suspense. We'll come across that when we are dealing with
Okay.
relevant, we'll come across. Here, you can provide one suspense account.
Okay.
When you submit, if suspense is set at your ledger level, it will take 1,000 into suspense credit side. Now overall 5,000 debit, 5,000 credit, 5 lakhs debit, 5 lakhs credit, right? It is getting balanced with additional account called a suspense account.
That account we need to provide in the lines, right? Journal lines automatically.
No, you no need to provide, system will take from you. You have to provide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you provide here, automatic will take, or else if you don't want to provide, manually you enter while you are entering itself.
Okay.
That is also fine. So that's all about journal creation. Okay, any questions from anyone, please? We're done for today. If you have any questions, please stay back, we'll discuss. If no questions, we'll connect tomorrow same time. Any questions, please?
This is the general entry. You perform the general entry.
Journal entry, yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't mention to whom we paid the salary amount, 5 lakhs.
Who?
Or is there to whom we paid the amount? Means to which employee we paid this amount?
No.
Or
See, that's what. This is generally we don't do this. Okay. Generally, that whom you paid and all you have to record in your payrolls. Always you create this kind of transactions, the payroll application, just to give you some understanding how to create within the GL. You never create payroll related journals directly in the GL. You use the payroll application. Okay.
okay.
Just for
Yeah, payroll
understanding only I
it is
created.
payroll.
I am not telling this is how we pay the salaries to employees. No. Yep.
Okay.
So you
Oh,
process the
pay-
salaries in the payroll application. Within the payroll, you will have that information. That amount is paid to for which employee, how much amount paid. Detailed information you will have in the payroll. The summary of total salaries you may record in the GL like this. If you don't connect that payroll application with the GL, manually you have to enter. That's it.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So
If
this
the
is
payroll is
total
connected
salaries.
already,
Total
if
salaries.
okay, this is total overall salary
Oh, yeah.
for the company or any organization.
Yes. The detailed salary you will find in your actual payroll application.
So whenever we post the payroll will transfer amount to in general.
Yes, exactly. Correct.
So no need to come here and no need to maintain this kind of balance.
No, here
You
you
are just
prepare the reports, right? Financial reports you prepare. For example, you are preparing income statement. What expense, what revenue. Salary is
okay.
expense for you, right?
Yes.
If you don't bring that information to GL, when you prepare the reports in GL, your expense will remain in the payroll application. It is not reporting to GL. That is the reason we have to get here.
So, but there will be any interconnection now.
Yeah,
Payroll.
definitely. No, that's what those points we discussed. I think you didn't attend. Okay, here
Sorry, sir.
we discussed if you connect your ADP payroll application to GL, it will come automatically. Same information will come,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
If you have
correct.
integration, it will come. You don't have ADP application integration with your Oracle GL, then here how much salaries you paid, that manual you have to enter here for your reporting purpose.
Okay.
So that was the point we discussed.
Okay. Thank you.
This is anyway just to understand how to create the journal. That's all. Generally, you don't need to create journals. You create the transactions in the subledger applications. Those would result as journals in the GL automatically. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So if no questions, we'll connect tomorrow same time.